Hello guys and welcome to today's daily puzzle discovering daily puzzle Nirvana. Let's get right to it. So what do I see? Well, I see a few things. First of all, I see that our bishop is currently preventing the king from escaping. On top of that, I do see that our knight has two ways of giving a check, both which can be countered either by the king moving aside as our knight over here would no longer allow our bishop to apply pressure, meaning that the king can escape. Alternatively, they can use their rook to take our knight. However, that would result in them losing their rook to our bishop. And if we go for the alternative route, then obviously their pawn can take our knight, and that would be the end of that. However, if the knight actually gets taken by their pawn, that does open up another weakness to their king, which I actually do like. So from the two options, I most prefer this one. And indeed, it is the right one. However, sadly, because the pawns are now stacked, this seeming checkmate actually isn't, because then the pawn can simply take our queen. Now, however, we do have another trick up our sleeve, being to withdraw our queen and then go for this checkmate. Obviously, you might say, well, won't the bishop take? Well, actually, the bishop can't take, because if they had taken, well, then obviously our pawn would take back, after which our rook can simply slide in for the checkmate. Now, however, they do still have the bishop that can defend in two ways, because if we now start moving our pawn forward or do our queen over here, and then they can still interpose with the bishop. So to prevent the bishop from actually interposing, we are going to push the pawn, which will then block the bishop's path, after which they obviously do want to eliminate the threat of the queen simply delivering checkmate. So now we actually are going to use this pawn to take the bishop, opening up the path for our rook to deliver the final blow. As such, they do try something desperate. I don't really know the intent of this move. I guess it is to try and win the bishop, but it matters not, as now our rook can deliver checkmate. There we go. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.